Hi, hope you're having a great day. You're watching JFG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm over with the Super Mario Bros. Movie second weekend, going over the domestic box office, the international box office, the global box office, what it's going to lead to for Nintendo going forward, all the stats of this weekend, how amazing the second weekend was, and just in general, where it's going to get in the box office numbers. So yeah, I think you're really going to like this video. I have 2 pages of notes. It's going to be a really informative, interesting video that hopefully you like. So yeah, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the domestic box office, which includes the US and Canada. And domestically, the film had an unbelievable second weekend, with the Sunday estimate putting the film at making $80.7 million, meaning that it would have only dropped of 41%. However, the actual numbers actually came out better on Monday morning, saying that the film made $92 million, which means that it dropped only 37%, which is incredible. Super rare to see in this market, so that's super awesome. That means that was a $12 million difference between the estimate that they did on Sunday to the actual numbers, which is never usually the case. And I think that very much shows how much kids are willing to see the Mario film, as kids usually go to theaters on Sundays, and that definitely shows with these numbers. Like, I think the estimates underestimated how many kids want to see the Mario movie. So it's really awesome that Sunday just boosted those numbers up, and it was just really awesome. Now, this is the best second weekend ever for an animated film, beating Frozen 2's $86 million, which is super awesome. And the only other animated films with better holds are Shrek 2 with 33% and Frozen 2 with 34%, which had a Thanksgiving weekend, so it's not really fair. But those are the only 2 animated films with better holds. And the only other movie that opened over $100 million that had a better hold than this film was Top Gun Maverick, which held at 28.9%, which is really awesome that only those 3 movies held better percentage-wise. Pretty amazing. Now, this is also the second best weekend for post-pandemic films, beating Top Gun Maverick's $90 million and No Way Home's $94.5 million. Yes, you heard me right, No Way Home. This movie had a bigger second weekend than No Way Home. That is mind-blowing, just insane, so really awesome. This is also the 7th biggest second weekend ever. Yes, you heard me right. Ever, like in the top charts, which is just insane. The Mario movie getting this far up, nobody expected it, to be honest. At least I didn't expect it to be this big. I know it's gonna be big, but I didn't expect it to be this big. Like, that is a phenomenal level, which is super awesome. Then yesterday on Monday, the film added $5.8 million, which is a really nice number for Monday, meaning that the film now has a domestic total of $359 million. Really, really strong. It crossed the $300 million mark in only 11 days. Second fastest animation film to do it, and 15 overall, just in all time. So once again, just showing how strong it is and showing how much of a phenomenon it is, especially for an animated film, which usually doesn't get to these numbers. This is really awesome. Now, this Wednesday, which is probably the day that I'm gonna end up posting the video, it's gonna be the Batman's domestic run, which is insane. Marvel beating the Batman film, that's awesome. And it will also beat Minions Rise of Gru domestic run to be the biggest film post-COVID, which is really amazing. Now, overall, the film is eyeing a domestic total of $570 to $640 million, which is a full domestic run, and I think that's really, really awesome. And I think it might be like the biggest animated film ever if it reaches those high numbers. And I think it definitely has that potential with the amazing holds that we just saw this weekend. So yeah, definitely, I think this could be the biggest animated film domestically ever. Just mind-blowing. Now, what about internationally? What about the international box office? Well, let's get into it. So, internationally, the movie only dropped 28% this weekend, which is mind-blowing again, making $102.5 million this weekend. Over $100 million on its second weekend. Like I said, this movie is a phenomenon. Word of mouth is really proving strong, with the film going up 59% on Sunday in Germany. Once again, showing that Sunday seems to be like the strongest day for this film, and it keeps going up. This wasn't the only market where it went up, and I think that's both word of mouth and kids. Now, in Latin America, it's Universal's second biggest film ever, only behind Fast and Furious 7, which just shows how much this film is appealing to Latinos. Last weekend, whenever it opened, we saw that the biggest demographic that went to go see this film in the US was by far Latinos. So it's very interesting to see that the Mario movie really appealed to the Latino community, and I think that's awesome, the fact that they got such a strong franchise for Latinos. Really awesome. Hopefully they add more inclusion towards Latinos in upcoming Mario films and in the coming Nintendo films. Now, the top market internationally for this film is Mexico. Once again, like I said, Latinos, with $53.6 million, and it's about to become the biggest animated film ever in Mexico, as it's about to be Coco's $57.9 million. So it's really close. Definitely gonna beat it by next weekend. So yeah, it's gonna become the biggest animated film ever in Mexico, and who knows, it might even become the biggest, highest grossing film in Mexico just in general. Like, it's really that close. So that's super awesome. And like I said, really appeals to Latino families. Really amazing. Now, this film hasn't even opened everywhere yet. It's still missing Korea, where it's going to open at April 26th, and Japan, where it's opening on April 28th. And it's opening just in time for Golden Week. Now, Golden Week is going to be a week full of holidays for Japan, which is super amazing. I think this could prove really strong for Japan. Beyond that, the Mario movie just has a really strong brand in Japan, like the Mario kind of games and everything. They're really strong over there. Nintendo is really strong in Japan. So this could be a huge box office hit over there. In fact, Japan has the potential to add $200 million of box office. So if it's able to add that, this movie's going to be huge. We'll see if it can actually reach that full potential. But like I said, it's a week full of holidays, so kids will definitely have the time to see the Mario film. And like I said, Mario is just a super strong brand over there, so I think it could. Now, overall, right now, the overseas total for the movie stands at $351.1 million. Really strong once again, already crossing the $300 million mark, which is just amazing because it's only been out for like a week and a half. So that's really awesome. Now, globally, where does the film stand globally? So overall, domestic plus international. Well, right now it has a total of $710.1 million. Really strong once again. Definitely gonna cross that $1 billion mark, and it's currently expected to end between 1.1 billion and 1.2 billion, not counting Japan or Korea, who are still left to open. Now, for comparison, to see how big this number is, only 4 animated films have ever crossed $1 billion. That is Minions 1, which made $1.16 billion, Incredibles 2, which made $1.24 billion, Frozen 1, which made $1.28 billion, and Frozen 2 at $1.45 billion. So those are only 4 films that ever crossed $1 billion. So just with this film crossing $1 billion, that's a huge landmark. And like I said, it's definitely supposed to make between 1.1 billion or 1.2 billion, which would put it easily towards the top 4 and possibly top 3 or 2. Without counting, like I said, Japan or Korea, which ends up being a huge hit there, then I definitely think it can beat Frozen 2's $1.45 billion. And I think it has the potential to be the biggest, highest grossing animated film just of all time in general worldwide, which I definitely see. Now, currently, it is tracking ahead of Frozen 2, which means this film could definitely become the highest grossing film. Like I said, it really just depends, especially on Japan, where Japan is such a huge market, and it's going to be really crucial to see how it does on that Golden Week. Now, I think it's going to do great. Why? Well, the word of mouth is super strong. 57% on critics on Rotten Tomatoes. A little bit weak there, but the audience score is just amazing at 96%. And an A Cinema score, it just means that audiences are completely loving it. And I think the love of audiences is going to carry this film to be a success in Japan. And it also has 2 more full weeks before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 releases on May 5th everywhere. So those 2 full weekends I think are going to be amazing for this film, and thank God for them giving them that break, because I think that this is definitely the recipe to success for this film to get to $1 billion and even become the highest grossing animated film ever. Now, with this being such a huge hit, expect a sequel or a spin-off announcement soon, as well as a lot more animated Nintendo IP films with their newly acquired animation studio called Nintendo Pictures. Now, you want to check out my video on that? I made a video about that back whenever they first bought Nintendo Pictures, like 6 months ago. Check it out. I talked about the cinematic universe they could possibly do. If you're interested, check it out. I think you might really like it. You might really enjoy it. But I think they could definitely make a Zelda movie. They can definitely end up making the Luigi's Haunted Mansion spin-off film, and so on, and go on from there. And obviously collide everything with Smash Bros. I think that could definitely be really big and like the cinematic universe of Nintendo. So I think that's an amazing idea, and I think it's gonna happen. To be honest, I think Nintendo's smart enough to know that that's the case. So hopefully it happens, and I can't wait to see more films like this. And one last thing, it's also worth noting that Peaches by Jack Black for Bowser also entered the top 100 Billboard songs just in general, which is super awesome. So that also I think helps this movie become a phenomenon and everything. So that's just amazing. So yeah, that's all I got for you in this video. That's my full breakdown. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you saw all the stats and everything, and I hope you just thought it was an amazing video. Hopefully you did. So please, if you did, then leave a like. It really helps out. So please leave a like, as well as tell me in the comments, what do you think about all this? What is your own personal prediction for where this film is going to end globally? Do you think it's going to become the highest grossing animated film ever? I'm curious. Tell me that down in the comments, as well as please subscribe to my channel. You definitely won't regret it. I'm going to make a lot more videos about this as weeks go on and whatnot. Not just for this film, but for a lot of other films. So yeah, subscribe for all the box office breakdown. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And this is J Entertainment. Out.